Hi, Jen. Well, this is take 4. We'll see how this one turns out. Here's an explanation of what this is about. I've found 6 poses or sequences of poses that are designed for third trimester prenatal yoga. And the way I'm teaching it takes about 30 minutes. So you need to be in appropriate loose flexible clothes and have a mat that your feet won't slide on, like a yoga mat. And we'll just see how it goes. This is new territory for me. I've never attempted to teach to a camera before, so it's a little weird. But I'm doing it for you, my love. So here we go. So we're going to begin in mountain pose, which is just a standing pose with a few attention to a few things. And the first is for you to stand with your feet placed evenly under your hips, not too wide, just where it feels comfortable and stable, but just straight underneath your hip bones. And you want your toes to be even and the outside edges of your feet to be parallel. So that might feel a little weird. Your heels are a little wider than maybe you're used to when you do that, but it gives you a good feeling of a stable base. And then I'm going to invite you to just roll through your feet. So rolling from the toes back to the heels, shifting your weight, and then rolling from the outside edges to the inside edges, just rolling through those bones, shifting the weight on your feet. This is sort of waking up the bottoms of the feet so that you can really feel the surface you're standing on with all the little proprioceptors on the sole of your foot. It's important for your balance and for your stability in yoga to have this really good foundation. And then the rest of mountain pose has to do with breath and a little bit of a lift up in the sternum, the breastbone area. So just lifting your sternum and then relaxing your shoulders away from your ears, letting your shoulders just relax down your back. And then I'm going to invite you to just either close your eyes or cast your eyes down at the floor. There's nothing to see here. I'm just standing here. Nothing you need to see me do. So just casting your eyes down or closing your eyes if that feels comfortable, if it doesn't make you feel unsteady, so that you can turn your attention to the breath. And I taught you the lunar breath earlier this year, and I want you to practice your lunar breath as you stand in mountain pose. So just inhaling and counting your inhale, and then exhaling and counting your exhale, and see if the exhale could be one number longer than the inhale. Every inhale, notice the feeling of your body expanding as your body fills with breath. And every exhale, notice your body contracting as the body empties the breath out. And then we're going to move our arms with the breath. So breath initiates the movement or inspires the movement, and the movement supports the breath. That's true of all of yoga. So as you're inhaling, just let your arms float up. And when you get to the top of the inhale, the fingertips touch and just lean back into your spine. So just gently arching back. And then as you exhale, come up, reach really long, and then let the arms float down to your sides as you complete your exhale. So the palms of the hands face the direction your arms are going. So when I inhale my arms up, I turn my palms up towards the ceiling. And when I get to the top, my palms meet. And then I arch back, leaning into my spine. And then as the exhale starts, I come back straight, reach long through my fingertips, and then turn the backs of my hands together so my palms are facing the floor as my hands come back down to my sides. And we'll do 3 more of those. Inhale, bringing the breath and the arms up and in. Arch back gently. Exhaling, straightening, reaching long, and then turning the palms down as you float your arms back to your sides. 1 more. Inhale up. Gentle arch. Exhale, lengthen, and float the arms down. Beautiful. I have to check and make sure that my computer didn't turn off because it does this weird thing where it thinks I'm finished, but it's still going, so we're good. Okay. The next pose we're going to do is called a supported triangle pose, and it starts by having you straddle your legs apart. Turn your right foot out so the toes are pointing towards the end of the mat, and turn your left toes in a little bit so that your back foot is at an angle, the right foot is sticking straight out. My legs are both straight. I'm going to rest my right hand on my right leg, the one that's angling away from the body. My body is turned so it's facing, the pelvis is facing sideways, not the direction that my foot is going. It's turned from the foot. So this right hand's going to rest here. On the inhale, 2 things are going to happen. One is I'm going to lunge. So I'm going to sink forward. So when I sink forward, if my foot's back here and I sink forward, I want you to notice how my knee is ahead of my foot. Not good for the knee. Don't do that. So you've got to scoot that foot forward so that when you lunge, however deep the lunge is, it can be whatever feels comfortable for you, but make sure that your knee is over your ankle. So there's a 90-degree angle at the ankle and a 45 or whatever it is at the knee, but my knee is straight over the top of my heel and my ankle. That's very important. The other thing is my kneecap points towards my baby toe. So look at your kneecap, and if your knee is kind of dropped in, bring it back so that the kneecap points towards baby toe. The other thing that's happening on the inhale is my left arm, my palm faces the ceiling and it reaches up, 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 long, 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 as far as I can reach as this leg sinks. And then I'm going to turn my head and I'm going to look up at that hand that's up over my head. Okay? And then as I exhale, I turn that palm around, bring that arm back down, and straighten this leg back up. So we're going to do 5 more of those. So inhaling, I'm sinking. This arm is coming up. And I'm going to look up at that hand as I reach as long as I can through those fingers. And then I exhale, straightening up as the arm comes down. Inhale, lunge as the arm comes up. I look up at my hand. Exhale, I turn my hand around. Bring that arm back down as I straighten my leg out. Inhale, up. Reach and look. Exhale, down. Straightening out that leg. 1 more. Inhale, up. Reaching, looking up at my hand. Exhale, bringing that hand down as I straighten my leg. So we did 5, and we're going to do 5 on the other side. So to get there, I'm going to pivot. I'm going to come up on the heel of my front foot and twist around with that. Come up on the heel of my back foot and twist around. And I've just turned myself around for the other side very quickly and simply. So same thing. On my inhale, I'm going to lunge. Make sure this leg stays kneecap pointing towards baby toe. Knee over ankle. Very important 2 things to be really careful about because you can hurt yourself if those are out of alignment. right hand, the palm is going to reach out and up. I'm really stretching through this arm, straightening the elbow and the wrist, reaching through the fingers. My fingertips are spread. I'm arching the palm of my hand so it's very active. And then I'm going to look up at that hand at the end. And then I turn it around, and as I exhale and straighten my leg, I also bring my arm back down. Inhale up, lunging and looking up. Exhale down, straightening the bottom leg. Inhale up, lunging, stretching. Exhale down, straightening the bottom leg. Inhale, lunge and reach. Exhale, coming back to neutral and relax. One more. Inhale, lunging, reaching, looking up. Exhale, arm comes back as the leg straightens out. The next pose we're going to do is a supported squat. And for this you need a couple of cushions. The number of cushions depends on your degree of flexibility in your knees. So I'm going to use these two. You might need a couple more. I don't know. So you're going to spread your legs wide and sit down on these cushions and then adjust yourself. So the key to this is to be sitting forward on the pelvis. So here's Skyla out here, and your legs are as wide as they'll comfortably go, but you've got your feet flat on the floor. So that's what makes it a squat. So I could even take the pillows away and be like this. And if that works for you and it feels okay, you can do that too. But it might feel good to put a little support under you so that you're not putting all of that strain on your legs. So once you're in supported squat, we're just going to do 10 relaxing breaths. The point of this pose is to help you to relax and open the pelvic floor. This is getting your muscles ready for childbirth, right? So that you're able to relax enough, then the tissues are supple enough that they stretch to allow Skyla to come out without tearing you or without your doctor needing to do an episiotomy, cutting you. So this is really good and important for you to do from now until you go into labor, so that when you do go into labor, your muscles and everything knows what to do, and it's a very easy and happy delivery. So again, I invite you to close your eyes. It feels comfortable for me to put my arms inside my knees and put my palms together, and it kind of pushes my legs apart and helps me to stay in this position. If that doesn't feel good for you, your arms and hands can go wherever is comfortable. You can rest them like this, you can drop them on the floor, you can put them on Skyla, whatever feels comfortable. But if it feels good to tuck your elbows inside your knees and then put your palms together and just kind of hold the legs apart like this, that's great. So we're going to do 10 breaths here, and I'm going to talk you through the breath because there's a visualization going on with this breath, which is a real powerful way to communicate with the tissue. So closing your eyes, if that works for you, or just casting your eyes down at the floor, just relaxing. As you inhale, that breath is coming in, and I want you to think about letting your sitting bones, the bones of your hips, going wide, floating wide. The pubic bone in the front coming up, and the tailbone in the back going back, opening up the pelvic floor. And then the muscles that are holding Skyla, the bowl-shaped muscle of your pelvis that she's sitting in, is going to just relax and come down towards the floor. That's what's happening when you inhale. When you exhale, you're going to gently contract the pelvic floor, bringing those sitting bones together, pulling and tucking, pulling the pubic bone down and tucking the tailbone under, and then lifting gently lifting the levator muscle, which is the one that's she's cradled in, she's held in, the uterus is inside that pelvic bowl muscle. So you're just gently lifting her or hugging her as you exhale. Inhale is that releasing, relaxing, letting the sitting bones go wide, letting the tissues soften and stretch. Exhaling, you're gently contracting, just drawing the muscles around her in and gently lifting her up. Exhaling is the coming in, the hugging and the lifting. Inhaling is the widening, the softening, and the dropping. So you can think of it as when I inhale, things get wide and go down towards the floor. And when I exhale, things come in and go up. Inhaling, it may sound a little backwards, but it's the way it works. Inhaling, because as you fill, you need room for that air. So as you inhale, everything drops and widens, making room for the breath. And as you exhale, everything narrows and lifts to push the air out. So just take 5 more of these beautiful pelvic breaths as you sit here in your squat and feel the sensation of the pelvic floor softening and widening when you inhale and narrowing and lifting when you exhale. And when you're finished with 10 of those, we're going to just go straight from squat into all fours. So you're going to kind of just roll forward, come onto your knees, move the pillows to the head of your mat, take the position on the mat on all fours. I forgot to mention to bring a folded blanket or towel. If you're not on carpet and it's hard under your knees, put a flat blanket or a flat towel, folded towel, so your knees have padding under them. Otherwise, they're not going to like this at all. But if you cushion the knees, they'll be fine. Your ankles, if it feels good to tuck the ankles and put the toes down, that's fine. If you can relax your ankles and let the tops of your feet rest on the floor, that's good too. So we're going to do 3 poses here, and they are cow, cat, and child's pose. And we're going to do them in a sequence with the breath. So the first one is cow, and cow goes with your inhale. So remember that the inhale is when you're softening and widening and relaxing, and the sitting bones of your bottom are going wide, opening up the pelvic floor. The exhale is cat pose. So I'm narrowing, I'm pulling my bottom in, and I'm lifting. And when I lift, my abdominals push up against my navel towards my spine. And my back arches and my head drops down. This is cat pose, like a Halloween cat with arched back. And then the last one is child's pose. And in child's pose, I'm just sitting back on my heels. Skyla's going to go right between your thighs, and you're going to reach your arms out and put your head down. Child's pose is a beautiful resting pose. And when you're in child's pose and when you're in cow pose, you are creating a hammock for Skyla. So you're making this hammock shape with your spine and your belly, and it encourages Skyla to lay on her back with her head down towards your pelvic floor, which is the position you would like her to be in when you're in labor. Because when she's flipped around the other way, her spine is pushing on your spine, and bone on bone does not feel good. And that's when you start to get low back pain now is probably when she's in that position. So you want to encourage her to flip over and lay on her back, and this encourages that. So if you're having low back pain, get on all fours, relax your belly, relax your bottom, and get in this hammock position and see if you can get her to lie down in the hammock. And you can move the hammock, you can swing it from side to side, you can rock her around in circles, you can go back into child's pose and rock back up. Do anything that feels good. You can just do some free form yoga, moving yourself in whatever way feels good in the moment. The sequence is going from cow, inhale, exhale into cat, where you engage and lift, narrowing and lifting, and then sinking back on your inhale, coming back into this relaxing child's pose, where you're resting your head on the floor. If your head doesn't reach the floor, take your pillow, put it under your head so that your head is resting on something. Don't leave your head up in the air. Put something between the floor and you. Bring the floor up to meet your forehead so that you can relax your neck. So relaxing in child's pose. And what I'm recommending is you do 5 of these. So it would look like this. I'm inhaling into cow. I'm exhaling up into cat. I'm inhaling back into child's pose. And I'm going to stay here while I exhale. And then on my inhale, I come back up into cow. Exhale into cat. Inhale back into child's pose. Exhale here. Inhale cow. Exhale cat. Inhale child's pose. Exhale child's pose. Inhale cow. Exhale cat. Inhale child's pose. Exhale child's pose. Inhale cow. Exhale cat. Inhale child's pose. Exhale child's pose. And when you've done 5 rounds of those 3 poses, stay down here in child's pose at the end for 5 more breaths. And just try to release and relax deeper into each breath. Think of every breath as an opportunity to let go of tension and just keep dropping to the floor. Just keep sinking into gravity, letting your body just surrender and yield to the pose. And when you're satisfied, you can come back up and we're going to do some easy sit belly breathing. So you can choose to sit however you're comfortable. So if you're sitting flat on the floor, you might want to tuck something underneath your sitting bones just to elevate you a little bit. You want your pelvis tilting forward, not backward like this. You want it forward like this. So if you put something under, like a folded towel, a narrow folded towel, just under the sitting bones, that's helpful to get your pelvis in the right position. So your legs can be straddled. You can put them together, the soles of the feet like this. And here's Skyla right here. You can cross your legs if that feels good, like this. We call it easy sit because I want you to sit in a way that's easy for you. So whatever that looks like, you know, your butt's on the floor, but everything else is optional. So find a comfortable, easy sit, and we're just going to do 5 belly breaths. So belly breathing is that attention to what is happening when I inhale and what is happening when I exhale. And it's more practice with creating this suppleness and this range of motion with the muscles of your pelvic floor. so that in labor, you can control that and you can let that open and get nice and wide to allow Skyla out without a lot of stress to the body. So closing your eyes if that feels comfortable to you, or just gazing down at the floor so that you take the visual stimulation out so you can focus on your breath. And then just start noticing your inhalings and your exhales. And notice that when you inhale, that's the part where you feel yourself sink down and get wide. It's the opening part, sinking and widening, letting the sitting bones get wide and letting the muscles of your pelvic floor relax. The exhale is the narrowing, lifting part. So when you exhale, you're pulling the sitting bones together. It might kind of feel like you're closing the sphincters, like you're trying to hold in a fart. So you're squeezing your butt a little bit, or you're holding in your pee, so you're squeezing in your urethra. So you're closing, you're squeezing in and lifting up with your core muscles, your abdominals and your pelvic floor muscles. So it kind of feels like you're hugging Skyla and lifting her up. That's what's happening when you exhale. And then when you inhale, you're gently releasing and putting her down. So you're letting Skyla go all the way down to the floor. And then you're just opening and getting really wide and soft. Like you're just letting your pelvic floor melt down into the floor. So every exhale is this narrowing, lifting. And that lifting is, what's really happening is the diaphragm and the pelvic diaphragm are pushing on the lungs to get the air out. And then the air just flows in effortlessly. There's no effort to an inhale. You've created a vacuum with the exhale, and the air just will seek a vacuum. It'll just fill it naturally. So you don't have to work to inhale. Inhales just happen. So just let the inhale come, and as it's coming in, your focus is on letting go, relaxing your pelvic floor, letting everything get soft and wide. And then on the exhale, you're going to effort a little. You're going to exert a little effort as you close, as you narrow and close and lift, pushing the air out. And then the air flows in and you're releasing, relaxing, spreading and widening, softening. Exhaling, narrowing, contracting, squeezing in and lifting. I like to think of it as hugging Skyla and picking her up. That's the exhale. Putting Skyla down and relaxing and spreading. That's the inhale. So just practice this belly breathing. Do this every day, several times a day. Just do 5 to 10 of these focused, concentrated belly breaths where you're hugging Skyla and lifting her on the exhale. You're putting her down and spreading and widening on the inhale. So last thing is a side lying Shavasana. So when you lie down, you can lie on either side, but not on your back. Remember when I was talking about the hammock and encouraging her to lay with her back towards your front? If you lie on your back, it encourages her to lay on her back against your back. It doesn't feel good, bony. So side lying, because you're too big now to lay on your belly. But here's a little trick. If you lay down on your side, whichever one feels the best for you, and then you put a pillow between your legs for all the way from your pelvic floor to your knees. So you want this leg to be level with the hip instead of dropping down. And then you can roll a little bit forward. So you're not laying on your belly, but you're kind of lying on the side of your tummy. So it's probably relatively comfortable. I'm guessing this is probably how you sleep. And from here, you can do those same belly breaths. This focused and conscious breathing and noticing your pelvic floor relaxing and softening when you inhale and contracting and narrowing and lifting when you exhale. This is the single most important thing you can do to prepare for childbirth, because this is what's going to get those muscles supple and able to relax and open. You want to be able to relax and open those muscles as wide and as soft as you can. So it's really important to practice this, because a lot we don't do this. More we're about getting strong and, you know, all the work at the gym and getting good strong abs and all of that. It's great, but it doesn't teach you to relax and open for childbirth. So this is really important. So just practice it in this position. Same thing, just soften and widen when you inhale. Narrow and contract and lift up when you exhale. So simple. Soft and wide, drop down and open when you inhale. Narrow, lift when you exhale. And as you focus on your breathing, you can also play with your lunar breath, making those exhales a little bit longer than your inhales. It's very calming for the nervous system, calming for Skyla when you do that. And you may decide to just take a little nap at the end of this yoga practice, and that's fine. And when you're ready to get up, use your hand, your left hand or your whichever hand is the top arm, to push yourself up so you don't have to strain to come up. Bring yourself up. Come back to an easy sit, whatever that looks like for you. And then we're going to end by doing the same breathing arms that we did at the beginning when we did mountain pose. So with the inhale, you're reaching up, arching back, looking up. Exhale, the arms float down to your sides. And we'll just do 5 of those. Inhale the arms up, exhale the arms down. When my arms come down, my head goes down and my chin kind of tucks into my throat. When I inhale, my head comes up and I look up at my fingers. Down, my chin tucks in. This is the last one, and when you get to the top, put your palms together, and this time, bring your palms down to the heart. This is called Namaste Mudra, and mudra means position of the hands, and Namaste position is when the palms are together like a prayer. And when you bring your hands down, they're right in front of your heart center. And I want you to close your eyes and for a moment, just feel the emotions of the heart. So this would be gratitude, loving kindness, compassion. My favorites are gratitude and loving kindness. So what you're going to do is use your intention to send loving kindness and gratitude out to all the cells of your body and to Skyla. So you're going to bathe Skyla and bathe yourself in loving kindness and gratitude. And just take a few breaths here as you feel that loving kindness and gratitude going out into your body, touching each cell, bathing, just sending a wave of gratitude and loving kindness to Skyla. Namaste. How was that? I'm coming over to turn off the computer. I love you, Genevieve. I love you, Skyla. Let's do this every day.